It's the 2008 NBA playoffs. Today we're going to get into a discussion of the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers from Game 1. Let's get started with the Spurs. Tim Duncan, he comes out and has a great performance. He has 30 points and 18 rebounds. I guess all NBA fans are waiting for a performance like that since he didn't play too well against the New Orleans Hornets. Tony Parker has 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's a great night for Tony Parker. But obviously, Manu Ginobili, he did not play very well. He had 10 points, went 3 for 13 shooting, and he was guarding Kobe Bryant most of the night, which kind of hurt him. I think he's falling a little bit out of sync. He's getting out of gas, and I think he's trying to adjust to the Lakers' defense, but I think he's trying a little too hard. I think Manu Ginobili is definitely going to be needed in this series in order for the Spurs to beat the Lakers. Now, Bruce Bowen was the only role player that scored in double figures. He had 12 points. Now, I don't think that you can expect Bruce Bowen to have 12 points on a night-to-night basis throughout this series. I honestly think that the Spurs have to get it together as far as their role players. Now, the Lakers, they look kind of sluggish. They look kind of out of sync. And going into the third quarter, they were down 20 points. They made themselves get themselves back into the game. They came back. They got the win. And Kobe Bryant explodes with 25 points in the second half. I mean, come on. The guy was bound to do it. He was not going to let his team lose. Finishes with 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. That's MVP numbers. Need I say more? Paul Gasol has 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. That's a good performance for Paul Gasol, obviously. And then the role players for the Lakers. You got 2 role players that stepped up last night. Vladimir Bogdanovic and Sasha Vujacic. 10 points and 5 rebounds each. That helps the Lakers great as far as the role players and what they need to do. Now, for the Spurs. The Spurs, before this series, I did say that the Spurs needed to rebound well. And they did do a good job. They kept Odom and they kept Gasol off the boards. These guys did not have 10-plus rebounds, and Tony Parker had 10 rebounds last night. So the Spurs did a great job. They sent all 5 down under the basket and went to the rebounds. The next thing the Spurs must do, Manu Ginobili obviously has to score more. He has to score 15 or more points. I suggest that Greg Popovich takes him out of the starting lineup, puts in Michael Finley, has Finley start on Kobe Bryant early on in the game instead of putting pressure on Ginobili to work on both sides of the court. Ginobili's more of an explosive scorer and can jump the lane and get steals. You don't want him guarding you don't want him guarding the top-notch player on the opposite team. The next thing, the Spurs role players have to step up. Like I just said, Bruce Bowen 12 points. That's the only role player that steps up. Robert Horry doesn't shoot the ball at all last night. Ime Udoka didn't shoot very well. Michael Finley goes 0 for 5. That's not going to work in this series. These guys have to be key components into this series as far as them scoring. And the next thing, I know Greg Popovich is not a great fan of doubling players, but you know what? You're playing Kobe Bryant. He's the MVP of the league. You have to double him. Get that ball out of his hands, because he is just an explosive scorer, and he took over in the fourth quarter because you did not double team him. Do it. Get it done. Make those role players in the Lakers beat you. Do not let Kobe Bryant beat you, and you did last night, letting him score 25 points in the second half and 14 points in the fourth quarter. And finally, get stops. You have to get stops in the fourth quarter. Down in the clutch. I know you guys were tired, had to sleep on an airplane, was stuck in New Orleans for over a day, but now you guys have an opportunity to rest and watch the film. When the fourth quarter comes, you guys are the defending champions. Get it done, get the stops, and you guys will be able to get a win and get back into the series. That's my report on the San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Jamel Crothers.